Marjorie Taylor Greene absolutely destroys Cuomo. Listen, Andrew Cuomo's time as governor has come back to destroy him. Okay? He can do all bad by himself. His handling during the time of the C-19, the virus situation, he handled this at his worst. He's handled it worse than any other governor in the United States, besides maybe Newsom. I've said this many times, of his handling of the C-19 during that time was absolutely positively insane. But if we take a step back real quick, besides that, before that, I thought of him as a pretty radical governor. I mean, let's be real. A lot of the governors on the left and or mayors on the left, they have cities and states that are not doing that well. But the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. If you look at Andrew's brother, Chris Cuomo, as far as I am concerned, with Chris Cuomo's time at CNN, he was pretty much one of the worst CNN anchors there. Of course, now we fast forward, Andrew Cuomo is now part of Value Entertainment, which is one of the best media companies out there right now that I think. So how about that for a dichotomy? But nevertheless, just recently, Chris Cuomo was actually destroyed by Dave Smith, who grilled him on his comments, his perspective, and his take on reporting when he was at CNN on many different things, especially the C-19 situation, and he got slaughtered. I digress from that situation. Andrew Cuomo's had caused many, many deaths, more than needed, in New York State by putting in a policy that specifically made and put people into nursing homes, which was one of the most vulnerable places that you could be during the time of C-19, because as we know, the C-19 situation, people passed away who had, on average, 3 or more comorbidities. So instead of actually using resources that Donald Trump offered him during that time, he took matters into his own hand and used his own strategy, which was disastrous, made the count go up dramatically. It was awful. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a political assassin, absolutely destroys Cuomo in this congressional hearing. Let's go ahead and watch it right now.
Right?
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize Ms. Greene from Georgia for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cuomo, I'd like to remind you that you're under oath. You've said a lot today. In your opening statement, you attacked President Trump and his response. I'd also like to remind you of statements that you've said. On April 13th of 2020 on the Howard Stern Show, you said, and I quote, "Trump has delivered for New York." He has. And then you talked about Trump sending the ship, the comfort ship. Mind you that the comfort ship was sent to New York on March 30th of 2020. That was just a few days after you signed the directive to put COVID-19 patients into nursing homes on March 25th, which led to murdering people's parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. Yes, murdering them. Today you said, and I'll quote you, you said that high deaths in nursing homes is a conspiracy theory. Would you like to turn to the people here in this room today whose mothers died and their fathers died in these nursing homes and call them conspiracy theorists? Do you have the audacity to do that, Mr. Cuomo?
I never said that, Congresswoman.
You said that today. You're under oath.
I never
there
said
is video. There's video of all of your words today.
I never
You
said
can be
that.
fact-checked. We'll do that when this is over.
Yeah.
You also blamed staff for spreading COVID in nursing homes, not COVID patients. You blamed the staff. But yet on March 25th, I didn't ask you a question. I'm talking to you. On March 25th, you signed a directive to put COVID-19 patients into nursing homes. On March 30th, President Trump sent the comfort ship, and you did not put COVID patients in the comfort ship. You didn't send them to the Javis Medical Center that President Trump had built, which was a field hospital. You didn't send them there. You put them in nursing homes, which is murder.
That's not.
No, that's murdering people. I'm saying that right now, and I'm also saying what a lot of people believe what your actions did.
Again, he was one of the worst governors during this time. Again, along with Gavin Newsom, who handled the virus at this time with tremendous lack of care. I'm not going to revisit and hash all of the reasons why. We already know. If you don't know, you can look back for it. But really, in regards, there's nothing more I need to say about this. As a result of Cuomo, who went through some sexual assault allegations, as you just saw, which was the reason why he actually stepped down as governor. It actually wasn't the C-19 or the COVID reason, which he should have stepped down due to that, as far as I'm concerned, before all the allegations even were put forth. But he is a dogmatic and pontificating liberal. But knowing that, it just upset me that this took so long for them to actually have a congressional hearing about him and his handling of the C-19. But the fun doesn't end there. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene continues to dig into Cuomo about his correlation and his connection, apparently, with the Chinese government and having a Chinese spy within his particular political group.
Let's also talk about some other things that you've done. Mr. Cuomo, let's talk about a tweet that you made, because there's an indictment out on a woman named Linda Sun. Linda Sun, and I'll read this indictment. It says on April 4th, politician number one publicly thanked PRC official number one, both in public remarks and in a post on Twitter, that's this right here, for helping arrange the donation, which was scheduled to arrive at JFK Airport in Queens, New York that day. So, Mr. Cuomo, you were thanking China, the PRC, while you had a woman named Linda Sun working for you, who has now been identified as a Chinese spy. Now, today you have come before the American people in our committee. You have insulted many people, including people in this room and people watching this hearing who lost their loved ones because of your March 25th directive. And at the same time, you were thanking the Chinese government while you had a Chinese spy working for you. So, Mr. Cuomo, I've read a lot about you, including the fact that 13 women that work for you accused you of sexually inappropriate behavior, which, thanks to the Democrat DOJ, helped you out of that. But I'd like to say this, and I'll ask you, are you either the dumbest tool of the Chinese government, or did you know for a fact that you were being used by the Chinese spy that was working for you?
I've read a lot about you too, Congresswoman. I think this is a very serious matter. About
it is serious. That's right.
Matter. She was a junior member in my team. I wouldn't recognize her if she was in this room today. But I think it is a serious matter. I don't think this was just in New York. I think there is an infiltration of Chinese, maybe Russian operatives.
The Democrat Party's definitely had a problem with Chinese spies. Yes, you're right. And I want to remind you, you're under oath.
Yeah. And I think it's a serious issue, and I think the federal government and the state government should work together on it. The state government doesn't really have the ability to do the international reconnaissance, but the federal government does, and I think they should work together to make sure they're doing the best they can to do the vetting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter the indictment for the record.
So ordered.
Thank you.
I now recognize Dr. Jackson from Texas for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this important hearing today and the opportunity to hold.
So with that said, I'm going to read some information about the particular situation, the case, and the Chinese spy that's correlated with this situation. So apparently, Brooklyn federal prosecutors allege the spy, whose name is Sun, used her position under being involved in the Cuomo political camp to turn the governor's office into a virtual mouthpiece for the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party. In exchange, she allegedly received gifts and millions of dollars in bribes. She and her husband used the real estate and including their mansion and luxury cars, such as a 2024 Ferrari Roma. She joined the Cuomo administration and worked as a liaison to the Queen's branch and the Asian American community. After her stint in chief of staff, she was first elected to the state assembly in 2009. She was apparently keeping in touch as a spokesperson for the Congress and helped the office facilitate to the White House tour, which such visits are commonly organized. But this goes to show you that Cuomo had a lot of things going on in his camp that was questionable. I will say that this could probably happen to anyone, but at the same time, how ironic is it that a Communist Party spy infiltrates a far left-leaning or just radical or progressive left-leaning political administration such as Cuomo's, of what you just saw. To me, it makes perfect sense, because if I was getting together a Russian spy with left-leaning propaganda aspects, which communism is, I would try to have them infiltrate in America, if that was my goal, to be a part of a progressive or far left-leaning political party. So, nevertheless, that's my breakdown of this video. I have more videos to come out, some really good videos that you guys will see in the near future. Without further ado, this was just a short breakdown. Go check my podcast out. Go check out the videos that I have when it comes to my channel. Again, like, subscribe. I'm Mr. Rembrandt, and this is Mr. Rembrandt. See you on the next video.